In all, it took only 31 hours for Joe Biden to issue what basically amounted to an email, giving up his run for president and a second term, and Kamala Harris become the presumptive nominee by grabbing enough delegates to win on the first ballot. They call this democracy. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris to be president. Nobody. Every other major Democrat except Obama now in line, though. They claiming this process to coordinate Harris was open and fair. And it was by Democrat standards, which is true because they don't really have standards, just objectives and agendas, so they're par for the course. Some things will never change. Say one thing, do another. Democrats scream about democracy about as often as they accuse Trump and his supporters of being racist, and they're now dumping democracy altogether, not allowing any challenge to Harris at all, and claiming it was an honest contest. Ha! Newsflash, it was all rigged again. It's all they know how to do. I mean, they railroaded Bernie back in 2016. They forced Mayor Pete, Amy Klobuchar, and others out of the way to make Biden the candidate in 2020, and they totally buried any challengers this time around, like Bobby Kennedy, who found the dishonest Democrats so out of line he left the party to run as a third-party nominee so they could have Biden. And you have to wonder if this fires up Kennedy's run for president by disenfranchised Democrats that are not impressed with cackling Kamala. The whole nominating process ended less than 2 days after it began, when Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries both came out to throw their support behind the new standard bearer. Not exactly a crowd on fire with enthusiasm. In fact, it was really kind of silly. Chuck Schumer suddenly in line to push Kamala Harris to be president. Here he is.
So now that the process is played out, from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to.
Yeah, nobody else was clapping either, Chuck. Here's something that might get their attention. BLM blasting the party as hypocrites. Blasting the party as hypocrites. BLM said timeline of events. This is on a Twitter post. They tweeted this out. Joe Biden drops out. Kamala Harris announces campaign. Kamala says she's going to work hard to earn the nomination. Harris calls party delegates for one day. She makes more calls. A 24-hour process of talking to party bosses is not democratic, and she gets the nomination. But there it is. There's Chuck Schumer asking for the applause. BLM rejecting it. And Chuck asking for it is a lot like Kamala asking for people to applaud during her events in the past. A tough crowd for sure, because Kamala Harris, look, she's going to get a bump in the polls. There's going to be this great fawning by the news media, but she's not a great candidate.